Bird. Recording's in progress. We're gonna see where this saves because this is Scott's first time recording on his new computer. If week
Woo!
5 rankings are missing, you'll know why, but you won't because you
You
won't be
will
seeing
know.
this video. Cool. Um, this week was the first week of the jury. Oh, good. Steven has already glitched out. Oh, he's back. So good.
I'm here.
Um, this is the first week of the jury. We saw who the fuck was HOH? Oh, Max. Max was HOH, winning his third competition and subsequently fourth competition in a row. Good, Steven's glitched out again. Oh, he's back in a new position. Um,
I
and
put my phone in front of the so
so
it cools
true.
down.
This is gonna go really well.
I
So,
put my phone. I put my phone in front of the fan so it cools down.
period. Come on, problem solving. Um, so Max was the HOH. He targeted Brogan, which was a choice that he made, and Brogan ended up going home 8-0, which is a choice the house made. And Brogan really blew up his own game, which was a choice that he made. Lots of choices. Choices made by everyone this week. This week was pretty straightforward. There wasn't a lot to really break down or shake up the house, but there was a lot of new information made. I think whereas while Jay and Ryan were in the house, and to an extent Brogan as well, the house was very much in a two-side divide. And I think now, especially with Brogan's departure, following Ryan's and Jay's departure, we are now at the house has one side to it. It is a very hierarchical, tiered side, and it is very clear who is on the top and who is on the bottom. So for me, my rankings are pretty easy this week. And I'll be interested to see how the game progresses moving forward, if this power structure will stay in place or if there will be another flip that happens. Because truly, I could see either happening. So I think the group that's there now is very solid, but we'll see. Steven, any thoughts on the overall week before we dive in?
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about this week. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to talk about it, and especially like you can feel now that we're doing some twisty things going into next week. It does feel like the game is starting to get down to it a little bit. So
Yeah.
very excited to see what each player is getting this week after last week, which brought a lot of switcheroos in
Yeah.
scores.
The end game is in sight. There's a lot of people really starting to figure out who they want in that end game. And despite there being one side with like clearly people at the top, I think each of those people at the top want different people in the end game. And I think the winner out of them, because I do think the winner is going to be one of them. There's a lot of people here that I just don't I just don't see winning a jury vote at this point. Not that they can't get there. I think the winner is going to be one of 3 or 4 people, in all honesty, maybe 5 at this point. And it's going to be a matter of who's able to have like the most of their people at the end with them. So we'll see. All right,
Yes, we will.
let's dive in. Starting with Andy. Last week, Andy was at a 7 from both of us. She exposed her majority alliance and put herself in a great middle position last week. However, this week I am unfortunately souring my stance on Andy a little bit. I think Andy wants to have her cake and eat it too, and unfortunately you can't
She's
have
gluten
both.
free.
Yeah, unfortunately she's full. She's
She's
full.
unfortunately she's lactose intolerant.
Um, yeah. That's if cake was dairy, but
Is icing not dairy?
maybe it depends on the icing.
And cakes have eggs in them.
Eggs, famously not dairy.
Oh, and milk
Yeah,
and
there you
butter.
go. There you go.
Eggs should be dairy. Eggs should be dairy.
Eggs should not be dairy.
Eggs are dairy.
Okay, great. Um,
Chat,
Andy,
do you think eggs are dairy?
this is gonna be a losing battle you're fighting. let us know in the comments down below, all four of you that are watching this. Um, so yes, Andy. Unfortunately for her, I think that in her mind, she's like ratted out this majority alliance and has joined this new majority alliance, but can still like work with and keep the old majority while also keeping the new majority. And unfortunately, neither of those things is the case. What's happened is Andy ratted out her old group, which has caused her old group to be evicted one after the other, but she still actively tried to keep Ryan and then was on board to try and keep Brogan. And the new group found out about both of these things. And now Andy is not only like low on their priority list, but I think like they're like, she's got to go soon if she's going to keep doing this. And they're moving other people above her in their ranking. And that's not good for her. Um, for right now, I think she's in a better spot than most people. However, I'm certainly not at my 7 anymore. I will be lowering my score to a 6 because, I mean, truthfully, how I see it, I think there are 5 tiers in the house of people. And I think Andy is in the middle tier in terms of social hierarchy. I think Andy is in the middle tier. And for that, I'm going to lower my score to a 6 because I do think she still has wiggle room forward. And I do think she could still be a very crucial player that people need to make moves on the people on the top if they so choose to. Um, I just don't know if she might be a casualty along the way. So for right now, she's fine. I'm at a 6. I do see my score lowering more in the future, though, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's also going to be a 6 from me. I think Andy, while she is not in as great of a position as she was coming out of last week, I think that you're right. She's going to have to be a crucial person moving forward for a lot of people. And I definitely wouldn't count Andy out of being in the end. And I think Andy very well, if she explains what she's done and explains the good things that she's done, very well could win.
I agree.
I think she's definitely still in the running. There are still a lot of people who are big names ahead of her that won't be sustainable enough to make it to the end. So, six.
Fully agree. Oh my God, now I have to go to the graph. Ugh.
Yeah, Scott's in charge today.
Okay, Andy. Oh my God, this is so hard. Refresh. Update. There we go. Andy's at a 6. Her
Good
score
job.
has moved downwards for the first time since week 2, which is when she was on the block last. Alrighty. Yeah. I j- Andy just needs to stop actively protecting people like Ryan and Brogan if she ratted them out. But now both of them are gone and she has no more people to do that for. So we'll see how she does moving forward. Um, next up is Ava. Um, oh, Ava's another one that like makes me sad because Ava's the a kind of player that I think should be doing better in the game because she is
Mhm.
clearly good at the game. She's good at talking to people. People like Ava, but again, for some reason, like she's being put in this weird floater middle position. And because of that, I put her and Andy in the same tier right now. People both like her. I think people will want to keep her around, but they're kind of like, if Ava goes, Ava goes, and then she's a casualty. And I'm like, that's not fantastic. Um, right now, I think Andy still has more of an in with those people, so I am just gonna stay at my 5 for Ava. I'm certainly not lowering my score. I think she's got a better path forward than some other people. Um, but yeah, it's gonna be a 5 from me. I hope it moves up, but she's just not in a great spot. And I think she should be, and she's just not. So it's a 5. I believe. Oh, and there goes Steven. Steven's gone. Bye, Steven. Um, so now I'm gonna keep talking about Ava. Ava's someone that I think is doing a lot of the correct things. She's checking in with people. People like her. Um, again, it's just weird that I find it weird that like Liz has moved away from Ava and Tyler isn't as in with Ava. And yeah, I think she's gonna be someone that might be used as a pawn coming up, and that's not great. It's not great. So it's a 5 from me. There's only so much more I can say about Ava. Is he even gonna text me? I hate carrying this franchise on my back. Let's see what's happening in the chats. Did the meeting stop for you? Nope. Still going, chatting away. Okay, maybe I'll move on. Maybe I'll move on. Maybe we'll have a little self-talk. Um, great. So yeah, Ava has a 5 from me. God, this is so I don't know whether to move on. Oh, look who's back. Look who's back. Is it Steven? Is it Stephen E. Harrison? Is he back? Drum roll, please. Steven, I really love this impression of Danny that you're doing right now.
Okay, hello, hello, hello.
Oh, he's back. Steven, if you didn't hear before, I said I really loved your
Wait,
Danny impression.
I did hear.
Disappearing and saying nothing.
Can you?
And now you should get upset when I tell you that you were being quiet and not saying anything. Cool. Fun. Fun. Yeah. One more time for the people in the back in case you didn't hear. Ava gets a 5 from me. Oh, he was here for a sec. There's his picture. Now it's gone. Oh, he's back. Oh, he might be muted because we can't hear him.
5 for Ava before I lose again. 5.
Nice. 5 for
Um,
Ava.
I think Ava is moving lower down the rankings of people who have the best chance to win. I think she's moving down further down into the bottom half, which is sad because I like Ava, and you're right. I think Ava is a good player, but is not is not in a good standing.
Yes. Um,
So
yes. I have Ava in the same tier as Andy, which is tier 3.
okay,
There are 5 tiers to be clear, and I will tell
uh,
you who is in each one. Next up is Brogan. Um, there are 5 tiers, but there's actually a 6th tier, which is called Floposaurus tier, and that's where Brogan lives right now. Unfortunately, Brogan overplayed his hand a lot. I think last week was the royalist of most horrible, deeply sickening fuck ups ever. I think boy got real confident and then let it all go and did not do a good job at recovering. Granted, he had some forces against him. Delusional Danny was against him. Um, Max was against him. And these are people that Brogan did want to work with. But Julia did a little mastermind work. And I think Brogan going home benefited Julia most and not a lot of other people, in all honesty. Um, so yeah, I'm only gonna give Brogan a 2 because I do think that Brogan, in terms of this week specifically, did put up a good fight. He did have a decent amount of numbers of people that did want to keep him. Granted, he went home 8-0, but that was more so, I think, because of the fact that people realized the numbers weren't there. But I think like Sarah would have kept him. Ava apparently would have kept him. I think Andy would have kept him. I think Michael would have kept him. Unfortunately, those four were not enough because Max would have broken the tie the other way. Tyler was not going to. Liz was on the block. Julia was certainly not going to. Danny is delusional. And there's someone else in the game. Oh, Kaylin, who is there. Um, so yeah, Broken's gonna get a 2 from me. Um, Fun having Broken here while it lasted, but I am was ready to see him sashay away at the time. I feel like Brogan came and gave what he gave, and unfortunately he went extinct with the other Flaposauruses, and by that I mean just him. And now he's done and gone and will never be seen from again until finale night.
I'm giving Brogan a 1. I
Yeah,
think
I
that
thought that was
this
coming.
was a. I thought this was. I don't know. Sure, he put up an effort at the end, but what is that even worth when he did so poorly leading up to it? I honestly think that yeah, maybe it would have been better for people's games to keep him. Some people, but also with someone who is so unpredictable and lied so much in the beginning of the season, like how much can you really even like trust what he like? I feel like he was a wild card, and
That's so fair.
he was with everyone. So it's like, is it really even good for everybody's game if he stayed? Because who knows what he would have done and who he would have been with, and maybe he said he would have been with you, but would have been with 8 other people. So I think it was the right choice for people to just get rid of him.
No,
So
I don't blame people.
especially
I
over
absolutely
Liz,
don't
like
blame people for getting rid of him. Like, I think it's exactly what you just said. Brogan, I think, was proven to just with peace and love, talk out of his ass to like everyone, and like was the king of just telling people like, "Oh my God, yes, I'm with you, love it, yes, you're the best. Oh my gosh, we're allies, we're super close." And because he was saying that to everyone, the people that he actually meant it to were not able to like tell that he meant it to them. And I think
yes,
that, if anything, was his biggest problem. If the people that he was with knew where he stood with everyone else and were informed of like, hey, I formed this group with them, but I'm not really with them. I'm just using it for info. I think he would have had a better route forward. But just like Andy wanted to have his cake and eat it too, and unfortunately, I'm full. Um,
fortunately he had um I was about to, I was about to use the wrong word. What's it called when you can't eat uh gluten?
gluten free.
No, that's not what it's called. That's just like what something is.
No,
What's
like
like the
you're gluten free. Like I'm gluten free.
yeah, but there's like a condition people have where it's like you get sick if you eat gluten. I forget what it is. Some of my friends had it. I forget what it's called.
Say their
Anyway,
names. No, I'm kidding. Okay, great.
anyway,
Cool. So Broken has a one
their
and
names. Yes, deservedly so. Actually, no, deserved a 1. But
no, I disagree.
I disagree with your disagreement.
Listen, I think on
I think he was just mean to people too, and that was off-putting for a lot of people. But anyway,
okay, I don't disagree with that fact, but I think that on this season, a lot of other people have been meaner.
to be fair, you Jay told you to shut the fuck up one time, and you were like, "I'm done," and then
Yeah, and that's fair. And to be clear, I'm not supporting what like Broken said either, nor Zach, nor Jay, nor people on FaceTimes making jokes or like whatnot. But like Rogue is not innocent, but like neither is like half this fucking cast. And no one's saying it, maybe except Zach, that like actually is like meaning it. But even Zach is saying it as a joke. Anyway,
whatever. I'm moving past 1.
great. Did we do the graph? Yes. Oh, big slide down. Plummet, summit to plummet.
New CBS show coming this fall.
Um, Let's see if this one flops as bad as buddy games. Okay. Um, Danny. No, I don't want it anymore. I'm done.
No,
I'm full. I said this last week. I'm full.
no,
Oh, yes. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Danny, I'm just over. Here's the thing. Actually, no, let me get back to I haven't
I
felt
don't,
this
I don't,
way. I texted
I
Steven
don't
this.
think you're over it.
Let me settle back into my chair because season 14, season 13, they had their ups and their downs, but no one was just utterly delusional. And if you've been with us on the rankings for a long time, like I know two of you have, um, you'll know that like delusion is not my thing. Delusion is gonna get me to be like on these rankings, like you're a stupid dumb fuck. And I haven't felt this way about someone since I think season 12. I think the last person that I gave this speech to was Nicole and like Nosha and like that era of people. I can't think of anyone on 13 or 14 that were just like horribly delusional. You know what I mean? Um, but Danny, like welcome to the club because what? Like first of all, if you have to argue, communication's a two-way street. I'm letting you know that you're the issue. You're the issue if that's your argument and that's your stance. Um, Number one. Number two, Danny's in their diary room being like, oh, if I just did all this work to get Brogan out and he doesn't go, I'm gonna go off on these people. Danny, you did nothing. You did nothing. People had their minds made up. Um, I think Sarah actually put this best. And this is like Sarah continues to eat down with the reads. Um, Sarah was on FaceTime with someone and was like, Danny is walking around like she's pissed that there's this like majority alliance that got exposed and like she was like and now like she needs to come up with something else. And it's like, Danny, you were in the majority alliance. How did you make yourself a victim in this? Like you were in the majority alliance. And like that just like I don't know. Danny is just like convinced that like they're doing something and they have actually zero impact. I think Danny is actually the person that has had the least amount of impact on this game. And that bar is low. Like we've got Kaylin in here. Like the fact that Danny has impacted the game less than Kaylin is crazy. And Danny thinks that they're like doing this all this stuff and talking to people and now like when other people win HOH and Danny's like, oh my God, if they put them up after I just worked to like do what they wanted and get Brogan out, Danny, you did nothing. You did nothing. Um, I think Danny is on the bottom tier. I think everyone is fine with Danny going. I don't know one person that is like, no, I really need Danny here. So I was at a 4 last week. And, you know, flops get 4s, but if you're delusional, you get 3s. That's the new phrase. Delusion, flops get 4s, delusions get 3s.
Yeah,
Maybe it should be detusions. But I'm not at a 2 yet. But I think I'll be there quite soon. 3 for Danny. Wake up.
I'm at a, I'm at a 3-2. I mean, we said this last week. It's you get a 4 when you're flopping and not knowing what you're doing. Second week in a row, it's a 3, and you keep just going down until you're evicted. And it's like I don't see a world where Danny like changes their positioning in the game.
No. Because even if Danny tried to, like here's the thing. Like when Andy switched her position in the game, it's because Andy had, everyone say it with me, the self-awareness to realize I'm on the bottom of this group. We're just doing what Ryan wants. We're just doing what Brogan wants. And that's not good for me. So I need to change my fate. And you know what Danny is never going to be able to do? Think that they're not running the game. Like, and thinking that they talk to like
And to
Danny
be
will
clear,
never
I
be.
love Danny.
I
Just to be
know.
clear, what
I'm over it. Danny, go home.
I like Danny as a person.
Yeah, as a person, Danny's Great.
That's what I'm saying. Just to be clear, I can get a little heated in
Oh
rankings.
yeah, I'm not coming for any of these people as people.
Like we need that disclaimer more often.
Okay, well, people just need to realize that. Like, let's
All right, three, and let's move on.
3 for Danny. Dan 3.
And two next week,
Yeah, Dan 2 next week.
and then
Probably.
and then Danny, but it's the Roman numeral I and two if they're still here.
No, I think not diving into the HOH too much, and granted, like noms haven't even happened yet. If I had to put money on it, Danny has one more rankings with us.
Yeah. Okay. Let's keep going.
Okay, let's look at the graph. Fun graph.
Oh yeah.
Update.
Yeah.
Yeah, not it. Um, Next up, Julia. Um, I I say this about a few people. I said this about James. I famously said this about James. And I'm gonna say it here.
I hate
I
how
I hate how well she's doing.
infamously said it about James. To be
Infamously
clear,
said it about James. Um, I hate how well Julia is doing. Not because I hate that Julia is doing well. I just hate that more people aren't clocking it and doing things about it because it's obvious. Um, Julia has everyone in her control. And like Tyler is like seen it, but I don't think he wants to do anything about it. And I'm like, Tyler, you dumb shit. Do something about it. Because Julie's gonna run away with the saying if people don't do anything about it. Um, Even like Sarah, who like wanted to do something about it, is now like I think being looped in under her mist.
yeah.
And
Sarah was like, I think that's what Ryan wanted to do, and now that Ryan's out, I don't really want that anymore.
yeah, like everyone is just being Julia's missed is literally crazy. And that's the thing. I think she openly talked to Tyler and Liz like, yeah, I'm just like running these people. And they're like, yeah, you are. And I'm like, people do something about it. So guess what? Guess what? For all the people out there that aren't doing anything about it, this is why you don't have the highest score. Julia will be getting the highest score this week from me, and it will be rising to an 8 because Julia is
Me
controlling
too. Oh
each
my
and
gosh,
every one of these people, and I hate it.
it's crazy. I am also going to date. This is so funny. Julia, I think, I think Julia's in the best spot. I do we think it's gonna last until the end of the game though? That's something I don't know.
Right now,
Um,
I see no signs that it won't. And I like there's so much time, and
so much time, and there's so much to happen, and there's so many twists, and
my gut tells me because she's being so obvious about it that someone, like in all honesty, I think Tyler or Sarah, maybe Liz, will wake up, smell the roses, and try and do something about it. I think it needs to be one of the three of them. Um, but I think they want to go too deep with her. And I think Julie is going to be a threat in these end comps. I think like I just think this upcoming week, if the cards present themselves the way that they do, I think you gotta cut her. But it's impressive. To be clear, Julia's killing it. I'm in full support of her killing it. Me saying that I hate how well Julia is doing is not me saying I hate Julia. Love Julia. Love Julia. Love Pink. Um, but someone's got to clock it for an interesting game. Otherwise, she's gonna run away with it. And I hate that. 8 though, because she ate. She's not full.
Julia. Kayla. Oh, we don't need the graph.
Wait, the graph. I'm
Graph.
working on it. I'm working on it.
No, this is what happens when I'm not.
Sorry, I'm doing everything.
Yeah, I'm driving.
Okay, and I'm sitting at home.
Yeah, we know.
Caitlin, um, okay. Kaylin, first of all, love her. She is still queen. She is still icon. She is still everything. The fact that she is still here is incredible, and I live for it. She is on the jury as she
Who does
deserves.
this remind me of? Who does this remind me of? It's like an actual Big Brother. I'm trying to think. Like, who has gotten so far that I'm like, how are you still here? Like, like if Angela makes it far, like Angela.
No, no. She's not Angela.
I'm
Like
not saying she's
like
Angela. That's not what I
Leah.
said.
Leah.
No, but it's different. Because
Anyway,
if Leah makes it far, I'm like, okay, you just did nothing. But Kaylin is actually we'll talk. We'll come back. I guess.
anywho. Kaylin, yes. Kaylin has had a 5 for the last couple of rankings. For me, now that Brogan is gone and the house is now one side that's kind of tiered, I think her position has significantly worsened, unfortunately. I think that people are now no longer seeing her as a crucial number that needs to stay around. With that being said, I don't know who in their right mind uses their HOH to take out Kaylin. And a lot of people have openly expressed that, which means I think she could still be sticking around for a bit. Um, I will sadly be lowering my score to a 4 because I do think her position has worsened. Um, I don't think she's in the worst spot in the house. And I do think she still could have some longevity, but I think her time could be running out and she can no longer benefit from playing the middle because the middle doesn't exist anymore. So it's going to be a 4 from me.
I think I'm gonna stay at my 5. Um, I think that yes, with a house target out like Brogan, the people who are kind of not actively doing too much are going to be like she's going to be used as a pawn moving forward. But also, I agree. Who is using their HOH to take out Kalen? I think Kalen could be someone that like sneaks to like 5-4, and then maybe when plans with people together start forming more, Kalen could be taken out. I don't think this is where she's taken, especially because there are so many big to be taken out on. Like if one person from one side wins, they're gonna take out one main person from the other side. Um, I think Kalen kind of falls in the in between, not too big of a deal range. So I'm sticking with my 5.
Yeah, I just worry that there's not, like you say, if one person from one side wins, they take out someone big from the other side. I don't think there's anyone on the other side anymore.
I would think like Sarah. I would think like
I think Sarah's ingratiated
Danny,
herself big time.
Danny,
But Danny's
Danny.
not, Danny thinks that she's on, like if Danny wins HOH, she's not targeting Julia. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think Danny targets the other bottom feeders because Danny thinks that she's a top
Just
feeder.
don't see a world where people. I just don't see. I just don't see people using their HOH to take out Caitlyn.
I agree. I just think that Kaylin might be used as a pawn here coming up. And kind of a la Triss is like the famous example of this as of recent. Um, like I think could just could just be a casualty.
Mm-hmm. We'll see.
Um, I also think her win equity
And
is
I'm rounding up. I'm rounding up because I like Caitlyn too.
and
So
that's fair. And that's fair. I love Kaylin. Speaking of people we love, let's talk about
the
Liz.
graph.
I
Oh,
already did the graph.
oh,
I'm on top
sorry, I'm
of it.
driving.
Let's talk about Liz. Liz
Liz.
continues to be my favorite. Liz, know that right now, if we get to the end of the season and you did not win production's favorite, you were robbed. You were robbed. And I,
And
I
I'll be rude,
realize that we're
actually.
in full control of that. But know that you were robbed if you don't win production's favorite. Liz is incredible. Liz is in the same way that like Sarah was a lovely surprise of someone that like gathered the game quickly, didn't know what these games were. Liz, although she knew what Big Brother was before, I don't think knew what she was getting into, and now she's here and she's here to play, and I love it. Um, she is doing, I think, a great job. Um, she's in the like she's one of the three people that I think are like in the power structure running things. The only downside to Liz is I think there are like people see her as not that. They see her as the pawn, and I think she'll be continued to put up, which is weird for someone that's in this position of power. But like she's I don't like no one's gonna take her. I think Liz is set. I don't know who is gonna evict Liz. Um, and I think that's it. Like Liz is someone that I think is going to be dangerous here at the end. And I think Liz could be sitting here on finale night and has a shot to win. I think people perceive Liz as not doing a job though. Which is interesting because she is. She is. Um, I'm hoping Steven will be back here soon. But talking about my score and my positioning, last week I was at a 6 for Liz and Steven was at a 7. I, for one, will be raising my score to a 7 because Liz is eating down. She's got a good alliance, she's got good priorities. I think the connection to Ava is key for her. Like Ava is her piece that she cannot let go. Um, yeah, all good things. All things are coming up, Liz. For Liz though, I do think that Julia and Tyler are both being perceived as being better players. And no shade to Liz, because I do think they are the top three right now, but I think Liz is number three in that. Um, I think she's going to need to take care of that if she wants to win the game. But for right now, all things slaveful for Liz.
I'm back.
Welcome back. Just a quick recap of what I said. I said I'm moving my score up to a 7 for Liz. I was at a 6, you were at a 7 last week. I'm up to a 7.
For
I
sure.
said that Liz is definitely in the power trio of the game, and no one thinks that she is, which I think is great for her. I think Liz is actually the person that's probably locked for the longest longevity with a shot to win, which is great for her. What I think is interesting and won't matter for a while because there's a lot of game left to play, but I think people perceive Liz as having not done a good job because she like was on the block early on and still has been on the block. There's time to change that perception though. And I think Liz's biggest hurdle is I think Julia, Tyler, and her are the three best players in the game, but I think Liz does rank number 3 in that, and I don't think she beats Julia or Tyler, and I don't know if she has plans to cut either of them. So it'll be interesting to see what her path to winning is, but she's doing great right now. There you go. No, go on. Don't be afraid. I was just gonna say the same thing. He's gone again. Great, awesome. Great, 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 great. Cool. Um, let's do our favorite thing and read Liz's diary rooms. Liz's diary rooms. Let's read through them. Where's Liz's DR? Did I miss it? Ava, Andy, Michael, Kaylin, Tyler, Julia, Liz. There she is. Great. Um, after Brogan was voted out 8-0, she said, "The scream I scrumped. I'm laughing so hard. Scrumped, new word, trendsetter. Um, she has said, if Andy doesn't vote to keep me, I'm taking her ass out. Yeah, this is the issue with Andy. We talked about it. Andy's getting greedy. Um, Liz said at 7:06 p.m. Chat, I'm freaking the fuck out right now. Like, where the hose at? Why is no one speaking to me? Because, quote Danny, communication is a two-way street, and these people aren't good at it. But you're good at it, Liz. Um, Liz says Steven is officially now my favorite host. Scott is officially over. I think not. I'm moving your score down to a 6. It's a 6 for Liz. It's a 6 for Liz now. No, I'm kidding. It's still a 7 because Liz is great. I'm not going to read the part of that DR that was in the middle, and no one's going to see the light of day. So true. She says, God, these people are just so bad at this. Like, why are you trying to get evicted? Yeah, yeah. Let's talk about how Liz threw the veto this week. Crazy choice. But come on, Ballsy. Great, Steven's back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Yeah, yeah. No, go on. Tell me how you really feel, Steven.
Who threw the veto? What are you talking about?
Liz, he's gone again. This is fun. This is a good time. I bet he's going to disappear again. Or he-
Hello?
Oh, he's back. Hello. Oh,
Can you
oh,
hear me?
oh, yes, we can. Welcome back.
Wait, I'm
Oh,
trying to find a good spot to stay.
wait, this is crazy. It says you're muted, but I can hear you.
I'm not.
This is crazy.
Okay.
The Zoom
Can
fully
you hear
says you're
me?
muted. Oh, yes. Yes, you're unmuted and we can hear you.
What about now?
Yes,
Yes?
indeed. Yes, we can.
Okay, awesome. Okay, I'm gonna get my super quickly. 7 for Liz.
Cool.
7 for Liz. Um, I you definitely can't hear me.
No, we can hear you. Keep going.
Oh, the one person that this reminds me of getting a high green score while on the block is Dan, which is super funny. But I remember doing that to Dan.
I forgot she was on the block this week.
It didn't even feel like it.
It did not even feel like it.
So I'm gonna stay right here. Oh my gosh, is this a place I can just stay? Oh my gosh, this is perfect. And you can hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Okay,
Let's
well I'm
look at
here.
this graph. Look at that. So far, everyone has a different score. It's so exciting. You can really see where each person is. Super exciting. Or,
Tucker said he wanted to quit.
huh?
Sorry, never mind. Tucker said he wanted to quit.
Yeah, but that's like been happening for like weeks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Tucker's like not a fan of being there. That's why he's definitely been so bold. Because I don't think he cared if he
Yeah.
leaves. But production is not gonna let him go. Oh God, Steven's gone.
No, I'm here.
Oh, you just turned your camera off. Okay, period.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
reading my Big Brother notifications.
okay, fun. Cool. Liz gets a 7. We read through Liz's diaries while you were gone, Steven. Um, and by we, I mean me and our viewer. Um,
Okay. And Sean.
and Sean. Hi, Sean. Max is up next. Um, Max, more like minimum. Um, because not good. Not good, not a fan of what Max is doing. Um, if I had to sum up what Max is doing in 2 words, it would be not good. Um, because Max, I think, had a bad HOH reign. Not necessarily because Brogan went home. I'm not saying that that was bad. I think he could have made better moves. Like taking out people that put him up that are the main power structure of the house. But that's just me. I get it if you don't want to make that big of a swing. But what Max did not do was make anyone feel good about him as an ally. He was HOH, and you know what he did? Went radio silent on everybody until Noms, except for Julia. Oh, good, Steven's gone again. Um, and then so no one felt good about Max heading into nominations, especially like Ava had no idea where Max was at. Ava thought she was going home the whole week because Max didn't clue her into anything. Um, I don't know if Max and Sarah talked. Tyler and Max didn't talk. Max told Liz that she was a pawn, but that was it. Like, it's just like no one felt good about Max leaving this week. He's also made himself a huge threat by winning both comps again, HOH and veto. He's now at 4. We saw what happened when Ryan won 2 HOHs, when Zach won HOH and veto and a puzzle and things. I think Max's time is limited because not only do people see him as a threat, but they also think he is a snake. And he's not doing himself any favors with that because even though maybe he's not a snake, he certainly has put like no effort into making people feel good about him, which is not going to fly. So unfortunately, I'm also going to lower my score because I think Max is like, I think if Max does not win a competition moving forward, he's done. I don't know anyone that keeps Max around, truthfully. Not a single person. So I'm going to be down to a 3, unfortunately. So that's a 3 from me. Welcome back, Stephen Harrison, in the chat.
Okay.
I just said
I
Max gets a 3 from me because.
know. I heard.
Oh, okay.
I'm also gonna do a 3. I agree. If he doesn't win a competition, he's done. And like, who's with him?
No one. Actually, 0 people.
Like, which is so sad because I like Max and I wish that he used the HOH reign to be a better player.
Ugh.
But and especially going into a week where that house is going to be split and there's fewer places to like, it's just he's not.
And this veto, although it is like, I wouldn't say it's random, but it's not the same skill set that you can rely on where it's like if you're good at comps, you're going to win. Like, this is not a veto that you can rely on winning if you think you're good at comps.
Yeah,
In the upcoming week, that is. And yeah, and he can't be HOH. Things are not looking good. I think he will be joining Broken very shortly. But we'll see.
agreed. So 3.
Oh, Graph.
Me when someone asks me what Jessica's last name is from BP19.
Now it's Nixon.
Now, oh, I think he said no, it's Nixon. I was like, no, I was pretty sure it was Graf. But then she got married.
Cool. Yeah, so you didn't see mine.
Michael.
That's because Max and Danny went along the same line because they're both flops. Great, Michael. Michael.
Yeah.
Last week I called Michael a wet towel and I apologize for that. Um, but I don't necessarily like think I was wrong. Like, I promise I love Michael. I don't mean it as a person. I just mean as a game player. Uh, I'm just like, Michael. Um, Everyone just sees him as like paranoid as shit. He's shifty. He won't say anything. He sends screenshots. It's the same things we said again and again and again. He's just not in a good spot. I can't even like pinpoint what he's doing wrong at this point. It's just like it's kind of the Brandon effect, but not really. It's just like I don't know, something's not clicking, and it is equal gameplay and everything else.
So true.
I literally can't even put my finger on it. He's just I don't know. There's not a vibe there. Um, I'm gonna stay at my 4 because I think that he is still helpful to people. And not in ways that like I think like Danny and Max are people that people actively want out of here. I don't think people want Michael actively out of here, and I do think that he is going to be a number moving forward. But I think he's proven to be continuously flip-floppy, continuously paranoid. I think that's why he's not being brought into any majority group. I don't see a path that he's going to be able to like take over the game. Like I think like the path of him being in the middle is gone. There's no more middle. So 4 for me. I'm going to stay
Yeah,
right
he's saying at my 4-2.
there.
I'm not seeing a path for him to win the game. And people, I don't think people, the jury is the people who are currently in the house, and the people who are currently in the house, I do not think that Michael deserves to win
I
at
unfortunately
this moment in time.
yes.
So 4. Sarah.
Hold on, we have to do the graph.
Oh, yeah.
Great.
Sorry,
Now
you
we
do that to me.
Sarah. Um, okay. She's getting her groove back. Sarah's getting her groove back. She's back, back, back. Um, Sarah, I think after Ryan left, in the way that he left, and then the aftermath with talking with Rogan, we saw her take a big withdrawal from the game. And I think being on like FaceTimes with her since then, especially within the last 24 hours, I think, granted, not totally unjustified, because like when Ryan took out people like Zach and Jay, they were like, fuck you, we hate you. And I think after people took out Ryan and they associated her with Ryan, I think she thought that people like hated her for doing something wrong, that she was like a bad person. And it's like, no, girl, Sarah, I promise you, you're fine. Um, and now that I think Brogan's gone, I think she played this week exactly how she needed to. Hands back, not fighting to save Brogan, talking to people, seeing if they were willing to, but if they weren't, not pushing it back against it, letting it happen. She's formed good relationships again with Tyler. I think she's building things up again with Liz. I think she had a great conversation with Andy, with Ava. She even had a good conversation with Julia. It's gotten to the point now that I think the people at the top, that being especially Tyler, especially Liz, see Sarah as someone that is not one of the Julia minions, and they know that, and they need to pull her in, and they need to keep her around because they're going to need people that are not Julia minions to overthrow Julia eventually, as I think what they're thinking. Um, Sarah is certainly not back at the top of the power structure by any means, and definitely could be precarious if the wrong person gets power, but I think we're on the recovery up and up again for Sarah, and I am not out on Sarah at all. I'm very excited for what she might be able to do moving forward. If she's able, I think this next week, with there being so many limited options, will be her biggest hurdle. But once she's
Mm-hmm.
past there, I'm keeping my fingers crossed for her that she's going to be able to do all right. Last week, I was at a 4, you were at a 5. I will be raising my score to a 5. I feel like her and Ava are in similar spots. But in all honesty, I'm at like this 5 for me is higher than my 5 is at for Ava, because I think people actively want to keep Sarah around more than they actively want to keep Ava around. So it's a 5. I hope it continues to raise. I'm keeping my fingers crossed for her. Because period, Sarah.
You say it one more time.
I moved my score up to from a 4 to a 5. Because I said I think her and Ava are in similar positions right now in the power structure. In all honesty, I think Sarah's is actually slightly better. I think more people want to actively keep Sarah around. Um, and I think Sarah is once again on the up and up. I think this next week is going to be her biggest hurdle, though, since there are so many limited options.
I was at the 5 last week. I'm gonna go up to a 6. I think people are actively trying to keep Sarah around, especially now that she's still good with Tyler. She's been making things happen with Julia. People just genuinely like her. I am worried about the split house a little bit. Um, but I think she'll be okay. I think she'll make it through unless the wrong person wins the competition, but we'll see what happens.
We will see. Alrighty, there is Sarah on the leaderboard, 5.5. Not bad. She's on the up and up. We live for it. Great. And now, Tyler. Currently, and I'm glad I said this preseason because I can back it up and say that I'm not bandwagoning on his current position. I think Tyler is in the best position to win the game in terms of his
Hmm.
long-term prospects of being in power, not obviously the main person in power. I think enough people trust him. He's got a great head on his shoulders. I think he's the main one that is clocked that Julia will need to go at some point. I'm wondering if he'll do it. I think he will. Um, I think he'll have the ability to win comps. I think Julia is going to be a big threat in the end, so I think the sooner he can take her out, in all honesty, the better. Because if Julia goes out for Tyler, um, assuming that it doesn't happen in this next week, like let's say it happens at the final eight, if Tyler could be in the final seven with like Liz, Sarah, and Ava, I just think he is set. Um, Last week I was at a 6 for Tyler. Steven was at a 7. I will be raising my score. I'm only going to go up to a 7 because I do think that Julia is still the front runner and he needs to make the active step to move against her, which he hasn't yet. But he is like just right below that and he is thinking about it and starting to set himself up for it. I'm just waiting for that to happen for me to give him the highest score. But he is definitely doing very well. It is a 7 from me.
I was at the 7. I'm gonna stay at my 7, but I think I agree with you. I think if things continue to go right for him, he has a very, very, very good shot to win. So we still haven't seen Tyler necessarily step out of the shadows. He hasn't won a competition yet since the captain competition. Um,
Wait. Well, he didn't win the captain. He was last picked,
oh
but he won HOH. He won perfect timing.
wait, oh he did. Who am I thinking of? Maybe I'm getting him mixed up with Zach. But we'll see what happens with competitions. He hasn't been a huge major threat in them, so we'll see what happens. But
I don't know.
Tyler
He
wasn't a
3.1.
3.1.
Yeah, third digit of pi, 3.1.
Oh, well, that hasn't happened yet. But yes.
Huge threat in comps. Um, but yeah, I think 7 is great by Steven. Um, 7 is an appropriate score. Yeah. Let's go back here. Update our graph for
Scott,
the
Scott,
final.
I'm gonna keep moving, but feel free to finish up. I'll probably cut out.
Go for it. Fun. Yeah, that's where we're at. Julia is currently at the top of the house with Liz and Tyler right below her, which makes total sense with the current standing of things. Down at the bottom, of course, we have Brogan. He went home. With I think Danny and Max right behind him there. Um, Next week will be very interesting to talk about because it is the split veto week, which is splitting the house in half. And this is where I think a lot of the bottom feeders are going to have a hard time hiding. This is the spot I've been saying it. I'm worried for Kaylin. I'm worried for Danny. I'm worried for Max. I think I'm not as worried for Michael. I think Ava, in all honesty, is someone that could get the boot. Sarah, if a competition doesn't go her way, could be in some trouble. I think these, like, unless you are Andy, Julia, Liz, or Tyler, I do not think you are even the least bit safe moving into this next split week. Um, and yeah, we'll be interested to see how it all shakes out. Steven is gone. I'm gonna take that as we're done now. Um, and we'll see you next week. Stopping share. How do I stop this recording? More. Pause/stop recording. Stop recording. I'm so good at my job. Bye.